What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? So listen, this is our book club. No, we are still talking about Tamron Hall as the Wicked Watch. Listen, I am absolutely loving this novel. And what I love is that right here at the bottom, see right there at the bottom, it says the first Jordan Manning novel. So that tells me that the intention is to make this a series. So I'm definitely here for it. Where we left off last week. Hold on, let me share this on my main page because I want to make sure everybody knows that we're over here. We're a little um oh Lord. Sorry, y'all. Let me share this out. Um oh, here it is right here. Okay. The notification just went out. So hopefully now that means that some people, but I want to just make sure that we send it out. Okay. So all right, we are live. All right. So anyway, last time we were talking, we left off talking about the hey Patty Duke, hey Miss Elementary, how you doing? We left off, we were at the prayer visual, right? Because I told you guys I want to go start getting too deep into the prayer visual because we weren't going to be on long. So I said we pick up um at that place. So we're at the prayer visual and some interesting things happen at this prayer visual. So we know that we have the mom is there. We know that the father is there, and there seems to be some weird situation with the dad. We found out that the dad doesn't want to be pictured. The dad doesn't want to be on the, he doesn't want to be a part of any of the media coverage. And there's nothing. I mean, it's not weird that he doesn't want to be involved in the media coverage because listen, everybody doesn't want to be on the front page, right? Let me put a little bit. Let me freshen this up. All right. Everybody doesn't want to be on the front page, right? I get it. That's cool. But um it just seemed weird because we know that the father is connected to Leslie and the whole, that community activism side of the family. And it just was weird, the little interaction when, she told the cameraman he not going to be on camera. I just think it's more to it. I'm not saying that he's wanted by the police or anything, but I just think it's a little deeper. But we know that they're at the prayer visual. We know that the Reverend is at the prayer visual. We know that the community activists are at the prayer visual. And so by this time, Jordan knows that Scott, her regular cameraman, is upset with her. They've sent a replacement down to the prayer visual with her. And she decides that she's going to interview some of the people that are there. So she notices that there's some, kids that are, high school age there, and she assumes, rightly, she assumes that these kids are friends of Jordan's, and what we find, I mean, of Macy's, sorry, Macy's, and what we find out is that, remember Macy had just started going to this, you know, this charter school, this like special school across town. Her mother said how she had to take 2 or 3 buses to get there every day. And so she said, well, let me go talk to some of her new classmates and just see what they say. Since it was brought up, I would have liked to know more about. Yeah, because they did bring it up like it was a thing. And I'm not done with the book yet. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. But up until this point, it hasn't been brought up again. And Patty Duke, I don't know if you finished the book or not, so you might know that it was never brought back up. But I know up until this point, it wasn't brought back up. But she talks to some of her classmates, and she finds some very interesting information. And what she finds out is that Macy had been getting picked up from school. And her mother never knew that. Her mother had the impression that she was catching the bus home every day. But we found out that Macy had been getting picked up from school by, somebody that has a really nice coat. They didn't really specify whether it's a male or female, and a nice car, like a nice little car. They didn't say it was, a Maybach or anything, but they said it was a nice car with a with a missing rim, and you have finished it. Oh, okay, so then they don't bring it back up. Yeah, so that's weird, right? That they would sort of put that new. I keep saying they. Tamron Hall, who's the writer, that she would sort of put that nuance in there and not really circle back around to it. Maybe we're just left to assume that he just doesn't want to be on the front page, kind of thing. But usually, I mean, generally, I read a lot of books, and generally, when you put that type of a detail into something, it's sort of indicative that it means something, right? But okay, we're gonna let that ride. So, we also find out, Jordan makes sure that she tells the kids. She said, "Listen, don't tell anybody else that you told me this." Because we found out that Macy was picked up after school the day of the incident. Well, I didn't say the incident, the murder. The girl was murdered. And she tells the kids, don't tell anybody else, not because she wants to keep the scoop, because now she's like, listen, their lives could possibly be in danger, because this is a criminal situation. Like, this is a crime, and their lives could possibly be in danger. So she definitely doesn't want them to tell anybody else what happened. And she tucks that in her back pocket because she's going to tell her police friend Joey. The other situation, for lack of a better word, that she runs into at the vigil is she runs into like a Moms Against Violence coalition, but it's a bunch of white women who are like basically from the suburbs, but they're there and they're very clear to say, listen, we understand and we know that we understand and we know that a Black mom doesn't get the same coverage as we get. And so we're here to lend our color so that she will hopefully get as much police coverage as she deserves, and that kind of thing, right? And so I thought that was pretty interesting. But honestly, a part of me, and again, I haven't finished the book yet, so it may be on the up and up, and it may be 100% legit. But a part of me was kind of side-eyeing a little bit because I was like, not sure if that's really what it is. But I have faith that it is. I have faith that it is what it is. Okay. So she gets the business card, and her and the woman, I think her name is Elaine, are going to meet up, and they're going to discuss how they can kind of, help each other out. The prayer vigil itself, it ends with the mom sort of, kind of having like a little bit of a breakdown, but it's to be understood, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of stimulation. It's a lot. I'm sorry. So hold on. Okay, so this is the end of the prayer vigil. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my book to look at my notes. So that's the end of the prayer vigil. And of course, she puts her report out, and she does a really good job. And she's starting to get a lot of traction as a reporter on this story. And she's able to convince her bosses to allow her to work on this story singularly. Like, she's going to be the only person working on this story, and she's able to convince them to allow her to do that. I'm sorry. So April Murphy, that's her name. I don't know where I got a name from. Y'all know I'm good for making up a name, but April Murphy is her name. She's the founder and president of Women Against Violence. So her and her group showed up, and again, they were very candid, and you can't be mad at them. They were very, very candid about understanding that Black children and mothers do not get the same amount of attention. The prayer vigil, I think the blah, blah. I think the prayer visual is a really good pivot point in this story because it it sort of I'm not gonna say it changes the trajectory, but it definitely puts a focus on the story and on the parents, and I think it shows that the mother has a lot of support that maybe the police weren't necessarily banking on at first. Um, hold on. Okay. Now something interesting happens when she is on her way home. She lives in a really nice building. We know that she has a good relationship with the doorman. His name, she calls him Base. And she gets home and someone is in her parking space. Now she pays money. She pays extra money to get this parking space, but someone is in her parking space. And I think the book did a really good job in explaining what has to happen and what her process is when someone parks in her space. So when she gets her special parking space, she's able to walk directly from her parking space in onto the floor, that'll take her directly to her floor. She doesn't have to go through the lobby. She doesn't have to see anybody. She can walk directly to her apartment. But when someone is in her parking space, she then has to go to the other parking garage and park on the roof, go all the way down, go through the lobby, get on the elevator, and then go upstairs. And I think that that's not I think it is important to the story because it plays a big part as the story moves forward, but it also allows us to see the relationship she has with Base, which we already sort of got a glimpse of it, but we see again how close they are, and how close they are. So that's important to the story as well. um Louise, we remember Miss Louise. She was able to, get her shine on. She was able to get plenty of interviews and all that great stuff. So, okay. So she's in her apartment. Okay. Okay. So she's in her apartment that night. She does her relaxation. She had picked up some food on the way home. She's chilling. Now we spoke earlier on about how she has like a little boo thing, right? She got like a little friends with benefits situation. He not her man. He not her boyfriend. As a matter of fact, he got a little on again, off again relationship that he's dealing with. But she's cool with it because she's like, listen, me and him ain't a couple. We ain't together. So he got his little boo thing situation over there. I'm over here, and when we available, we available. When we can hook up, we can hook up, right? So these are some of the messages she got that night on her phone. When she checked her, I'm just reading directly from the book. Louise, I'm sorry, y'all know I'm listen, I'm doing better. I'm going to do better, I should say. I had wrote down all my notes, but so I'm reading this directly from the book. I checked my cell phone and was happy to see several congratulatory text messages from friends and colleagues. Ellen, phenomenal coverage. I texted back, thanks, Ellen. It's been a long day. I'll be in an hour late tomorrow. Okay, see you around 11. Ellen is her boss slash friend. Now, they're friends, but every once in a while, Ellen got to remind her who's still in charge, and that ends up happening later on in the book. Zena, saw your story, girl. This is unbelievable. You owned it. No one could have reported it the way you did. She responded, "Oh, yeah, he wants to be her boyfriend. He absolutely wants more than what she's than what she's offering." Um, Scott texted, "The piece turned out really nice. Congrats." And again, remember, her and Scott didn't end on really good terms, and so she kind of was like, "Yeah, right." She didn't say that to him, though. Courtney wrote, so full of emotion after watching your segment tonight. I know it wasn't easy. Love you, girl. And she texted back, love you too. Ellen, Zena, and Courtney, without even realizing it, have validated a need in me to feel that the work I was doing is important, that it matters. That 2 minute clip for me is the combination of the combination of 10 hours immersed in the inextricable pain of sobbing family members, exasperated community leaders, frightened residents, and insolent cops, all along carrying the knowledge of a terrified medical examiner's report. When standing at the crime scene where a child was discarded, who wouldn't welcome an Atta girl after that? My cell phone chimed and Thomas's name popped up. Now Thomas is her boo thing. He texted her, "How was your day?" And before she could respond, he texted her, "You want some company?" And you see what's up, What's up, Miss Honey? And you see a little bit of her irritation because her in her mind, her response is, "Really, Thomas? If you had watched my newscast, you would know how my day was." And so again, they have this friends with benefits situation, but even when he tries to play boyfriend, I guess, it still falls short because it says that you're not in tune with what she's doing. This is a major story that's taken over not just Chicago, but it ends up getting international coverage, and you don't even know that she's a part of it and how her day went. And that says a lot, at least from her perspective. And that says a lot about, where they are, honestly. So she texted back, "I've had all the satisfaction I can handle for one day, but I'll see you soon, XX." Notice not XO, not love, but XX. So she goes to sleep. And in the middle of the night, she gets a phone call from Base. Now she thinks Base is I told you, her doorman. She thinks Base is calling her about the car, about somebody that's parked in her car, because she reported it to him and he said he would get it taken care of. And if he could get the car out of her space, she could come and put her car in her regular spot. He said, "Well, I'm sorry, to bother you, but you have a visitor." And she's like, "I have a visitor. Who?" Child, Thomas Aston came over, even though she already kind of gave him the nice, "Nah, I'm good for tonight." He showed up unannounced in the middle of the night, and just because he has a decent friendship with Base, he sort of felt like, I can get in where I fit in. And so, she let him come through. You know what I'm saying? She let him come through, and of course they did what they do. But I mean, if it were me, in the back of my mind, I would be like, see, you playing, because we have a situation, we have an arrangement. And she said this is the first time he had ever just popped up at her house. And especially like in the middle of the night like that, like, nah, no. So she woke up the next morning, and this goes back to what Patty Duke just said about him wanting to be a boyfriend. So, she said, "I turned away from Thomas to check the calendar and then my emails on my cell phone. I'd been strolling through for a good 3 minutes when Thomas said, 'Good morning.' I returned my phone to the nightstand and turned to face him. 'Good morning,' I said. 'How long have you been up?' he asked. 'Just a few minutes.' 'Is that what you do every morning?' 'What?' 'Start your day loving up on that phone?' I have to check my emails and text messages, and oh God, my calendar. That'd be a big mistake not checking my calendar,' I said. 'So you just launch in like this?' he asked. 'Yes, I wouldn't have it any other way.' In a single movement, he reached out with his left arm and pulled me into his chest, playfully pecked me on the lips. 'This is how you should be starting your day,' he said, and took my hand and began to slide it down towards his naked pelvis. 'I wasn't going to do it,' he laughed. 'I'm just messing with you.' 'I should have known this was too good to be true,' I said. Thomas squeezed me tight, and our bodies, skin to skin, rolled back and forth. Then I'm just going to jump down to this part of the conversation, because you said you were playing, but you weren't playing. You absolutely positively wanted a piece of that woo woo woo. You wasn't playing. You wasn't playing. You wanted a piece of that woo woo woo. Then He says, you were right about one thing. Yesterday was a very difficult day emotionally. I kind of figured that after I saw your story, he said. I leaned away and pulled my sheet over my breast. I propped myself up on my elbow with rapt attention. You saw my story? I assumed you hadn't. Yeah, he said, scooching up in bed and sliding a pillow underneath his head. That's why I texted you right after it went off. Oh, what's the saying when you assume you make a what out of who and who? I perked up. What did you think? And so he didn't say anything about her story. So the assumption was that he didn't know that she had done. I mean, like, my thing is closed mouths don't get fed. If you want credit for being a good quote unquote boyfriend, you need to let me know you being a good boyfriend. Or at least auditioning for the job, right? But here's where it turns, y'all. This is what she asked, what do you think? And this is his response. I thought it was kind of fucked up, he said, with a sour look. That mother looked like a zombie. There was no life in her eyes. I don't know how you reporters do that to people. That woman was in no position to be in front of a camera, and you guys were right there in her face. That was her choice, I said abruptly, sitting up in the bed. Don't go there. He had no idea how insulting what he just said was to me. I better get up and get my day going, I said before the conversation went any further. I turned my back to him, grabbed my phone off the nightstand. Wait, what just happened? He asked. I turned around and faced him. You offended me. That's what. You make reporters sound like thrill seekers, forcing people to talk like I get paid for tears or something. Pamela Alonso wanted us there. She was using us to her advantage. Just then, the sun bored through my window with a flash of hot, blinding light like it was agreeing with me. I ran my hand through my hair and tried to settle down a bit before I went on. And I'm glad she did, because you know what? What, he said, pouting like a 7-year-old man child, his arms folded across his bare, prodigious pectorials. This little girl, Thomas, from what I've learned, was the girl next door, our girl next door. Smart, ambitious, beautiful. I'm just baffled how her life came down to this. Thomas sat up, leaned his back against the headboard, and drew his knees to his chest in a contemplative pose. What, I asked. What I don't get is how come she is riding a bike home that night when it's getting dark. Well, supposedly she took it off before it got too dark out of her mother. Told me her cousin was throwing a birthday party. We already talked about that. But something else he said. Well, no, I think I said what I probably said. So that's kind of where it ended. Hold on, I don't have a mod. Let me get this troll out, y'all. Miss Patty Duke, you still in here? So Thomas wants the job, but Thomas don't really want to do the work for the job. Because it sounds like he fundamentally doesn't necessarily respect what it is that she does. She is a reporter, and these are the types of stories that she will be reporting on. Well, she wasn't in any condition to be on television, even though she wanted to do it. I don't disagree with what he was saying from that aspect, but I feel like, where is the compassion for your girlfriend? You know, she just got finished, or excuse me, the person you want to be your girlfriend. She literally just got finished saying how emotional of a day it was. Why not have the conversation and say, hey, that looked like that was a lot. Like, you know, off camera, how was the mother doing? What was she saying? Do you think that that was helpful or hurtful? Like, I just feel like there were other ways that he could have expressed that without it coming. It came out very harsh. Even when I read it the first time, it came off very harsh. I was like, if that had been my friend, I'd have been pissed off too, and I probably would have told him it was time for him to leave, because he seemed like he was very aggressive about it. I don't know. I'm gonna stop using that word aggressive, child. But he seemed like he was just very forceful about it. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, for me, that just would have kind of been for lack of a better word, I don't want to say a turn off, but I really would have been like, you know what I'm saying? So poor Thomas is in the doghouse, child. But what we found out later on, Pat, this is just me and you in here, girl. Patty Duke, it's just me and you, child. Later on, you know, we saw where her friend Joey has an interest as well. And because we know that this is the beginning of a series, and again, I haven't finished it, Miss Patty Duke, so don't tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. But because we know that this is the beginning of a series, we don't necessarily see. I don't know if she's going to fully explore the Joey situation or she's going to let it build up, right? Like, I don't think, again, if this was going to be a one and done novel, then I could see maybe her having them hook up at the end of the novel. But I think because she's building this into a series, because of Jordan's line of work, she needs that inside scoop at the police station. And so, like, if this were a TV show, right, I could see that by season 3, maybe Jordan and Joey actually end up being in a relationship. But you just got to get that sexual tension, right, in the beginning. So the next thing we find out, and I'm going to go through this little part and then we're going to leave it there. The next thing we find out is we see that the next morning she has a couple of meetings, right? She has a meeting with Pamela, the mother, and she's also meeting with what did I say her name was? Y'all made me I'm gonna mess that woman's name up just that fast. Oh, how you doing, Miss Elementary? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only going to say this last little part, and then we're going to end it right there, because this is chapter. This is chapter. Going into chapter. I don't know, child. What is her name? What is her name? I just had it, y'all. The woman that runs the woman's the Mothers Against Violence group. I believe her name is Ann. She has a meeting with her as well the next morning. I'm just going to talk about the meeting, Miss Elementary, and then we're going to end it right there. And I will be back on Monday. Monday I'm off, so because I've already read. I'm in chapter 15, so we'll do the next couple of chapters on Monday. Let me see. I'm in chapter 15. Let me see something. Yeah, there are 18 chapters altogether, and I'm in chapter 15. So I'm almost done. So we'll come back on Monday and we'll talk about I'm going to talk about the meeting and the information she was able to gather from the meeting. And then on Monday, we're going to talk about some stuff that happened after this meeting. So she met with well, is it Melody Child? We're going to call her Melody. She met with the woman, the leader of the women against violence, right? She met with her, and then she had Pamela come in afterwards so she could connect the two of them together, because she wasn't sure that this woman was on the up and up, right? So she wanted to make sure and kind of vet her out first before she sort of exposed Pamela to her. But what we found out is that she, like you said, Patty Duke, she is legit. She shows up with a whole file of cases where the coroner's office have dropped the ball, the police have dropped the ball when it comes to cases of people of color. And she starts talking about the forensic science of it and the autopsies and stuff. And that reminds Jordan that she needs to get in touch with Miss Dr. Chan. Now, I already told y'all, Dr. Chan, he said he was going to Switzerland for some sort of symposium type thing. Dr. Chan is sick. And I think that wherever Dr. Chan is, he's somewhere getting treatments for whatever is wrong with him. And he's just telling everybody that he's at a symposium, but he's really sick. Jordan calls him to ask him what the status is of, the evidence that he gathered and where it is. Because, now she's a little paranoid about her evidence getting lost or getting mishandled. And he's kind of short with her. I won't say he's rude, because if the man told you he was leaving the country and he gave you an exclusive and he gave you all he had, and you calling him at 9-10 o'clock Chicago time, not even thinking about what time it could possibly be in Switzerland to ask him and basically almost question his integrity a little bit. I don't think he was being rude. You know what I mean? I think he was responding appropriately to what you gave him, right? So the other thing we find out from the leader of this organization is that she's a little connected. She's definitely a little connected, and she's absolutely willing to, meet up with Pamela and work with Pamela on helping her with the case with Jordan. I mean, about Macy. Now, when Pamela shows up and she gets to talking to Pamela a little bit, she lets them know the information she found out about Macy being picked up from school. And at first, Pamela is a normal mom. She's in denial. She's like, no, she wouldn't do that. If that, she would have told me, I would know. Like, she's in denial about it a little bit. But eventually she starts to listen, and we realize that the cousin Yvette, the house that she was going to, that she was at that day for that birthday party, Yvette might know more than what we think Yvette knows. And Jordan wants to go and talk to Yvette. And Pamela says, well, I'll, give you the number so you can go talk to Yvette. We find out that Yvette she does hair out of her home, and her boyfriend cuts hair out of the basement of the home. So they kind of got that whole, ghetto, neighborhood hairdresser situation working, right? We all have known a kitchen hairdresser in our lifetime. We have all been to the kitchen hairdresser, okay? And Jordan also makes sure that she takes this information and she calls the police. Well, Jordan sort of steps on Joey's toes a little bit. Joey is her police guy. That's her inside scoop. She called Joey to give Joey the tip about Macy being picked up from school and some person at her school. And he's not working on the case, but he said he would pass the information on. But that wasn't fast enough for Jordan. Jordan actually gets on the phone and calls the detective, Barnett, and actually, okay, Miss Patty Duke, because you know a lot, so you don't want to say too much. I respect that. But we're going to end it right here, because I'm not even going to get into what she did when she left these meetings. We're going to end it at the meeting. But she ends up calling the police Barnett about, and it sort of stepped on Joey's toes a little bit. And we're going to find out later on how that kind of affected her and Joey's friendship for a minute. This is the part of the book where things start moving really quickly. Like I said, the prayer vigil was sort of the pivot point, because we find out the information about, Macy keeping secrets and maybe, being more going on than what we initially thought about Miss Macy. Not that she was a bad kid. She was just a teenage girl that kept secrets, right? She wasn't a bad kid. I don't want nobody to think differently. We meet this, the head of this Women's Against Violence organization, who's able to bring us some information, right? And that sort of sets off the next set of chain of events, which is going to eventually lead us to the end. Like I said, I'm in chapter 15. I don't want to say what just happened, but Patty Duke, you'll know where I am. Something major just happened with Jordan, so you know what I'm talking about when I say that. So I don't want to say too much. Miss Elementary, you go ahead and read up on Monday. We'll talk about what these chain of events were, and we'll talk about what sort of happened as a result of some of these chain of events. We'll talk. Let's see. Monday we'll pick up with what Jordan did after she left these meetings, because she had a full day, child. She was all over the place. We'll start with that, and then we'll work our way to. Let's get to the police news conference. I won't say what happened at the news conference, but let's just say we'll work our way up to the police news conference, because it's a lot that happens, y'all. It's a lot of stuff that happens, a lot of moving pieces. So from here, it starts going boom, boom, boom. I think the book is good anyway, and I think it's been moving at a good pace anyway. But here it starts going boom, 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 right? So Patty Duke, you already finished it. So we will finish it up. We're going to probably finish it up. We're going to finish it up by the end of the month. I already know what the book for March is. what I want the book for March to be. Where'd I put it? Hold on. Where'd I put the book? My cleaning lady came yesterday. Hold on. I knew where I had it. Give me a second. Where'd I put the where did she put the book? Let me see here. I have it somewhere over here. Where did she put the book? Where did I put the book? Oh boy, boy, boy. All right. I'm gonna have to find it. I know what the book is, but I'm gonna have to find it, y'all. Oh, here it is, right here. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. It is a good book, Miss Honey. Miss Honey, it is an excellent. Listen, I wasn't sure, but this is an excellent book. As the Wicked Watch, and it is like I said, it's going to be the first of a series for, and it's written by Tamron Hall. I'll just give you a brief. It takes place in Chicago. It's about a high school student who comes up missing, and what ends up happening as a result of that. Jordan is the main character. She's a news reporter, but she also has a degree in forensic science. So sometimes she crosses the line and starts getting a little bit into, trying to solve the murder instead of reporting on the case. And it gets into some social issues. For example, it gets into, the disparity between when a black girl goes missing, a young girl goes missing, and when a white young girl goes missing. It gets into the police coverage, the police response, the media coverage. So it deals with some of those subjects, as well as solving the case. And again, because this is set up to be a series, you can see where she's establishing certain characters and certain, like I said, we have Joey, who is her police buddy, who is her inside scoop on the police department. So we see that relationship has been set up, right? We've met some of her friends and the dynamics of their relationship with her friends, her mom. So it's a pretty good, it's good. I really would highly recommend it. Like, so far, now I'm gonna see how it ends, because if sometimes books, they're really, 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 really good. Then you get to the end and you be like, what? So I'm waiting till I get to the end, but I'm almost at the end. Like I said, I'm in chapter 15 and there are only 18 chapters. So I'm almost at the end. I'll probably finish the book today, no later than tomorrow. So here's the next book, you guys. Black Bottom Saints. Now, I saw this book on Amazon and I was on the waiting list. The book didn't even come out until July. When I was looking for a book, I saw the description of this and I put myself on the waiting list. So I got the book. I got it a while ago. But the book is, I'm gonna just read you the back of it, okay? So y'all know what it is. On his deathbed in 1968, Ziggy Johnson, MC, dance school dean, and columnist, tells the story of his life in mid-century Black Detroit by writing a Saints Day book starring 61 of his friends, including Della Reese, Joe Louis, Billy Eckstein, Nat King Cole, Robert Hayden. What emerges is a forgotten world of Black excellence, a caramel Camelot fueled by Ziggy's beloved breadwinners, the factory workers, who were also a brilliant audience who privileged Black aesthetics and Black joy. So this sounded, when I read the description of this, I said, okay, this sounds really interesting. That takes us back into like that Harlem Renaissance. Like, this was actually supposed to be our Black History book, a book for Black History Month, because I thought it would be like some historical references. But it sounds like it's sort of like a Cotton Club-esque type atmosphere, and we're going to learn about all these different characters and that kind of thing. So I'm excited about reading it. I haven't started it yet, obviously, but this is going to be the next book. I'm going to actually post it and announce it and give everybody a couple of weeks to get it. But I got it off of Amazon. I'm not sure if it's available on audio yet. I'll check all of that out when I post it, if it's on auto book. But it should be at the library. It's not going to be as popular as, because this is a bestseller. It's by Tamron Hall. So you're going to probably find it. I see, Patty, thank you. I see. You're going to probably find it easier than you'll find this one. But I'll get all that information when I post it. And like I said, I'll probably post it before the weekend's over. All right. All right, you guys. Well, I will talk to y'all later. I don't know if I'm gonna do a live on my main channel or not tonight. But we may come through. I gotta see if anybody's talking about anything for us to talk about, chat. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Ooh.